The AULA F75 and the Ajazz AK820 are both extremely Thocky 75% budget keyboards, but which one should you buy? After spending weeks rigorously testing both of these keyboards, I've discovered some surprising differences between the two that could make or break your decision. The AULA F75 comes in at about $70 US, while the Ajazz AK820 is about $10 cheaper at $60 US. The F75 is a little bit wider than the AK820, but the AK820 is a little bit longer, so they work out to about the same size overall. For color themes, you don't really get too many options with the AK820. You only get this gray with a little bit of yellow accent keys and a white and purple option. And for the F75, you get 7 color options. This one's light blue, but you also have sea salt blue, green, black, purple, and you also have blue and black, which are side printed. The AK820 does have the Ajazz logo on the front of the keyboard. It does kind of look clean, although I do prefer the no logo on the AULA F75. Both keyboards have PBT double shot keycaps that are not backlit. The F75 has cherry profile, and you can't really find any other than cherry profile on the F75, while the Ajazz, you do have a few options between OEM, MOA, which is kind of like a circle, doesn't look good to me, but some people might like that. And this one did come with cherry profile, but I couldn't find it anywhere on the website, so I'm not sure if it's just out of stock or what. Both keycaps look really good to me. They're both really clean, have a matte finish, and they're pretty thick, not super thick, but they're really high quality nonetheless. The AULA F75 definitely has brighter RGB when compared to the AK820 Pro. They're both not backlit keycaps though, so it's not really too important to me, although some people might like the AULA F75 because it does have the brighter RGB. Both of them have about the same amount of effects that you can do, and you can change both with the software that they both have. The AK820 comes with Ajazz gift switches or Ajazz flying fish switches, which is the ones that I have here and that you'll hear later on in the sound test. And the AULA F75 comes with Leobog Reaper switches, which is the ones I have in this one, as well as the Ice Vein linear switch and the TTC Crescent switch. All of them are linear on both keyboards. None of them have tactile or clicky. I mean, most people do prefer linear switches anyways, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal. They both sound really good out of the box. They are both hot swappable, however, so you can always change them out later. And they also both have 5 layers of foam in the keyboard, which adds to the Thocky sound of both of them. And they both have really good stabilizers, although to me, the F75 does sound a little bit better overall, especially the spacebar. As you can hear, both keyboards are pretty Thocky, although the clear winner is the F75. It's definitely a lot more Thockier sounding, and the spacebar, like I was saying, is definitely a lot better than the AK820 Pro. Although they are pre-lubed out of the box, I do prefer the stabilizers and just the overall sound of the F75 a lot more than the AK820. If you're looking for a keyboard that is wireless, both of them are wireless with Bluetooth 5.0 and 2.4 gigahertz. And as far as I can tell, they're both equally as good wireless, so that shouldn't make or break your decision. They do both have 4,000 milliamp batteries. And for the AULA F75 in the manual, it says that it should last about 17.5 hours with the RGB on full brightness. While the AK820, they say should last about 20 hours with the RGB on full brightness from what I could tell. Although I haven't tested it, I feel like it should be closer where they're both about the same, but who knows, because the AULA does have a lot brighter RGB, so that could drain the battery a little bit faster. Both of them have a really basic software. They both do about the same thing. You can change the RGB, set macros, change the different key functions, but on the AK820, it does have a screen in the bottom right above the right arrow key, so you can also customize that screen with the software as well, which is kind of different than most other keyboards. I haven't seen it on any other keyboard, especially a budget keyboard, and especially not the F75. So if you want to customize your keyboard a little bit more, maybe the Ajazz AK820 is better. Who knows? Although I don't find it really useful, some people might. And since this is a 75% keyboard, most of them do feature a knob in the top right to change the volume. The F75 is made out of plastic and it doesn't feel as good as quality as the AK820s, which does feel like it's kind of made out of metal, and it just has like a more robust feel and higher quality feel to it. Just the knob at least feels a lot better than the F75s. If you are looking to mod your keyboard, the F75 here does not allow you really to. I've seen some people have really a lot of trouble trying to get into it, breaking their case even trying to get into it. So I have never even tried to open it or looked into how to open it, but I do know that it's really hard to do. Well, compared to the Ajazz AK820, which is pretty easy to mod, you just take off the knob and pry it open. From what I could see, again, I haven't tried to mod either of these keyboards because to me they're both pretty thocky out of the box, and I haven't even thought about it. You might want to fix the stabilizers or update the stabilizers on the Ajazz AK820, and maybe it would sound a little bit better than the F75. So you could always do that on the AK820. While the F75, you have really no options to mod it, although to me, you don't really have to mod this keyboard, and that's what this keyboard is meant for. And to me, both these keyboards are meant to not have to mod them. They're budget keyboards, they're pre-built, and they're meant to be able to sound great out of the box. So to determine which one you should buy, we're going to go through each category and determine which one's better in that, and then I'll tell you exactly which one you should buy. For build quality, the F75 is far superior to me. It feels a lot heavier and just more premium overall. For design and aesthetics, it's kind of up to personal preference, but to me, I do like the look of the AK820 a little bit more, but the AULA F75 does have a little bit more color options, but for now I'm going to say the AK820 is my favorite right now for the design with the two colorways that I have here. For the switches and overall typing feel, well, they both only come with linear switches. The Leobog Reaper switches that come in the AULA F75 are really good, and they sound and feel to me a lot better than the Ajazz Flying Fish switches that are in the AK820. For the keycaps, they're both pretty equal. They both have similar legends and similar thickness to the keycaps. They're both overall really good. For features, the Ajazz AK820 does win in this category. It does have this nice little screen in the bottom right, and the knob is a lot better to me than the AULA F75. For performance, which is arguably the most important thing, the AULA F75's Leobog Reaper switches, although they should have a heavier actuation force, they seem a little bit easier to press on accident compared to the Flying Fish switches on the Ajazz AK820 Pro, which is kind of something that's not the greatest, although you can always change the debounce time in the software, so it won't really make too much of a difference, but for this I would have to favor the AK820 Pro in this category. Like I was saying before, the AULA F75 definitely wins in the RGB department, and the AK820 definitely wins in the modability department, which I don't even know if that's a word. I think I just made that up, but it wins in that. So what keyboard should you buy? To me, the clear winner is the AULA F75. It's the more thocky, better sounding keyboard. Although it doesn't have quite as many features as the AK820, it's by far the better keyboard in my opinion. And if you want to check out the full review for the AULA F75, you can click on screen right now.